course, in 30 minutes, I can only give you the glimpses of what digital HR means and what do we mean by building new generation. What is this new generation? Building new generation digital HR ecosystem. And why are we putting digital in front of HR? So the program is all about future. And I keep telling my students, this is my second career, as Ajay just said. I mean, 33, 34 years, I was first in I'm engineer also, being electrical engineering. I was in technology space, and 2009 I moved as a director and head of Alcatel-Lucent University, because the global leadership wanted somebody from technology. I was handling two products for USA networks, Verizon Wireless and Sprint Nextel. So wanted somebody to come in HR space from technology space, and 4 campuses I handled. And in 2011 I was elevated as Asia Pacific head, and I set up 24 campuses. And then Reliance Jio, as Ajay mentioned, I was the first chief learning officer, set up a Jio University countrywide, then set up Flipkart e-commerce academy. And then my second career started with Indian School of Business as director digital learning. So I teach in fact, in the morning I had a 3 hours class with IIM Lucknow students, and I teach as a guest faculty in MDI Gurgaon. So coming back to digital HR, why are we putting this word digital in front of HR, and what does it mean for all of us, and are we prepared, especially all the young professionals who are the future CHROs, Chief Human Resource Officers or Chief People Officer? Are they adequately prepared? Is the future readiness there? Why are we putting this word digital? What do we mean by new generation digital HR ecosystems? So not only that we have to prepare organizations, we have to prepare individuals, because who moves the organization? People are the prime movers. It's not the artificial intelligence. Of course, I talk a lot, I research a lot. I am doing my research, which is on artificial intelligence adoption in HR ecosystems. But it is all about human beings. It is all about you. It is all about you becoming future ready. So, as I tell my students, future is where your future lies. But only for 1 or 2 times in this talk, I will move backwards. So I will move to 1990. I think some of you might not have even been born at that time. And that time, what was the state of HR? It was called as most of the places, almost without exception, personnel and administration. It was a support function with very transactional kind of an approach. And as things progressed, I could see at the turn of the century, the function became HR function, as we used to call it, HRD, human resource development or human resource management. Later, 2010, a lot of disruptions started. We are going to discuss what have been the major disruptors. So the disruption started, we started talking of aligning HR strategies with business strategies. So the new name, I would say, but those names have their own relevance. The strategic HRM was born, so as to say. And part of the strategic HRM today, we talk of, under the umbrella term strategic HRM, we talk of digital HR. So why are we adding this term digital? What does digital HR means? Now, let me again take you back, and then I will discuss in details about digital HR. 2010, out of the top 6 companies in the world, by way of market capitalization, which is value of the company, which is number of shares the company has multiplied by the value which is at which it is being traded in the market. So out of the top 6 companies, there were how many companies which were selling digital products and digital solutions? Only 2, which means 4 companies, Shell, ExxonMobil, ICBC, and there was another company, which were brick and mortar companies. Only 2 companies, Microsoft and Apple, were there in the top 6. 2015, 5 years later, that 2 became 4, with Amazon and Google entering into the fray. 5 years later, 2020, another company got added, Facebook. So we had 5 companies out of top 6 which were selling digital products and digital solutions. And not only that, the valuations of Apple, Google, Microsoft. I mean, if you take Apple and Google together, it will be equivalent to India's GDP. More than $4 trillion they have, which means they have a massive footprint in terms of selling digital products, selling digital solutions to corporates, to individuals, to corporates. So if there is a supply, then which means there is a demand. Who consumes these digital products? Who consumes these digital solutions? Corporates, which means their businesses are now getting enabled by digital. And HR is now getting enabled. We are using artificial, we've started using artificial intelligence. We've started using deep learning. We've started using machine learning in the HR ecosystem. So that's why I call it new generation HR ecosystems. But what change will it make? What are the strategic implications? Why should we not continue the way we have been continuing? So one big reason is COVID. That has been a biggest disruptor. I have been in my second career in academics since 2018. So I was attending, I was speaking in lots of conferences. I will talk to vice chancellors, I will talk to directors, deans, and there were only few institutions. I'm giving you an example of from higher education space. IIT Mumbai, BITS Pilani, IIM Bangalore, and Indian School of Business Hyderabad, using, which were carrying out digital transformation in their ecosystems. And I would tell those leaders, why are you not starting in your universities, in your educational ecosystems? Corporate was doing well, but not at the pace at which it is doing today. So everybody paid a lip service. And March third week, the country was locked, lockdown started. Then everyone wanted that, oh, we should have done digital transformation yesterday. Then could we do it quickly? So I said, now you can't do it in a day or in a week or in a month. You were not proactive. And then if we see, we've spent almost 2 years in pandemic, we are coming out of it. Most of these universities, educational institutions have now done fair amount of digital transformation. Companies have done fair amount of digital transformation. HR ecosystems have done fair amount of digital transformation, as if somebody has pushed the fast forward button and it has taken us forward by 15 years. What's happening in HR today in the corporate space? It would have taken 10, 12, 15 years to go to that state. So what are the strategic implications when we are talking of COVID as a disruptor and then digital technologies as another disruptor? Digital technologies means artificial intelligence. It is replacing enterprise systems. Why it is replacing enterprise systems? Because enterprise system is a dumb software. It's a hand-coded software. It will continue if you put 5 keywords and you say 5,000 applications, just pick up. So yes, it will do, and it will give you, these are the 50 profiles which have these 5 keywords. But it will continue to do 10,000 times, it will do the same thing if there is no bug in the software. AI will not do like that. AI will intelligently, we are training the model. AI will look at many other things. It will see what will be the business impact of each keyword. It will give you maybe 80 profiles, and those 80 might be radically different from what enterprise software has given. So huge disruption is taking place, and AI, we are leveraging AI, HR managers are leveraging AI and making their companies future ready. Have you started worrying about your future readiness? So, what are the strategic implications, and why are we using this thing? So, one is these disruptors to address the complexity which COVID-19 has created. It has made things, and one function which has been most adversely impacted by COVID-19 has been HR function. And one function which has progressed so much in my lifetime is HR function. Today, it is a function of choice. I teach MDI Gurgaon two classes, two batches, 60, 60, 61, 60, 61, 120 odd students. Some of them have 3 years, 5 years prior experience, and now they are doing MBA. And I see the interest in HR function, and they are curious, they are keen to learn about digital HR because they are going to work on digital transformation of HR projects. So why are we so worried about future readiness? Because of the complexity, because of the turbulence, because of the fluidity, because of the non-linearity. In 2019, we would have still said that, okay, I use this model and I can forecast my business for next 5 years. Can you do it today? So this complexity, this turbulence, this fluidity, this uncertainty, this non-linearity has pushed us to be ready, and we will see more and more complexity as we move forward. We will see more and more turbulence as we move forward. Are we prepared for it? So when we talk of digital HR transformation, remember we will always be using three terms, three pillars rather. One is the strategic roadmap. What is the strategic roadmap of HR in terms of what's the direction in terms of technology investments, in terms of people skills? I'm talking about the organization because HR is not only to prepare its own function, it has to prepare the entire organization also. As a CHRO, you are not to only worry about, let's say, 50 people who are working in your HR department in a, let's say, 5,000 people company. You are to worry about rest of the people. 5,000 minus 50. That's also your responsibility. Upskilling them, making them future ready, making organization future ready. So how do you make organization future ready? So here, I mean, understand, of course, we have less time and this only some kind of an overview, I would say, for digital HR. The first thing is the transformation. So today morning, while I was teaching, I am Lucknow student, so I gave them an exercise. And then they took time. What do you mean by transformation and what do you mean by tactical? HR has been tactical prior to, I would say, 2010. Figuratively saying 2010, I mean, it's not that from 1st January 2011 it became proactive, but it has been tactical, more transactional, routine things, more process focused. But what about the strategic intent? And there we are leveraging digital technologies. We are having a, which we call it as digitalization. So don't mix up the two terms, digitalization and digitization. Having a strategic roadmap, that is my digital transformation. And the second component of digital transformation is digitization, digitizing the process, focusing on the process, focusing on onboarding process, focusing on induction process, focusing on some, as how do you impart online training, focusing on that process, exit process. So you are automating the processes. Whereas certain tasks are there in a job role which you cannot automate. Something which deals with emotions of a customer. How can I give it to AI? So that is where we use the term augmentation. I tell my machine buddy, I tell my robot, I will do this part, you take care of this part, you take care of the part which can be automated. You can take care, you can do it in 1 hour, I take 1 day to complete this. And because you are doing this part, it is freeing up my time. So there is automation, which AI is taking care of. There is augmentation, where I am doing, and machines and I coexist. This is my new generation digital HR ecosystem. So when we talk of digital HR ecosystems, we leverage data, lot of data. Data is a, as we say, new oil. Data is a gold for our future economy. because data is something, if we can slice and dice that data, if we can make meaning out of the data. I always give an example in cricketing terms. We all love cricket, and you can take example of any other game. If you look at any ODI, one day international, look at one ball being bowled. That one ball can generate 30, 40, 50 data points. You can take a piece of paper and write how many permutation combinations can be there on a one delivery. There would be 40, 50 data points generated by one ball. How many balls are there in one ODI? 300 plus 300, 600 balls. 600 into 50, 30,000 data points. One ODI leads to 30,000 data points. Now, how can coach, if you compare coach with a CHRO, how can coach leverage those 30,000 data points? You have to slice and dice the data. That's where AI analytics comes into play. That's where we say we analyze, slice, dice the data and bring key insights to the HR leaders, to the business leaders. In a similar way as the AI will slice and dice the data and present to the coach and to the captain and to the team. Look at this. These are the 10 insights. And now they can learn from those insights. They can be future ready. They can be ready for the next match. They're playing the same team. So this is exactly what's happening in new generation digital HR ecosystem. You slice and dice the data, you leverage the data, and you have insights, as we call it, as AI powered or AI based analytics in HR. And HR is a function where the technology, the adoption of technology, which has not been happening at a pace at which it was happening in other functions. Today, the pace at which technology is getting adopted in HR is phenomenal. Reason being, we need speed, we need analytics, we need insights from the data, we need to move very, very fast, we need to upskill people for the future challenges. We need to address customer complexity. We need to address organizational complexity. We need to be resilient. That's another very important pillar of digital HR. We need to be resilient. What does resilience means? Resilient is a Greek term which means bounce back. That means that God forbid if another variant of COVID-19 comes, or forget about COVID-19, another disruptor comes our way. God forbid, 2 years later, another disruptor. This time it may not be in the healthcare space. This time it might be in the IT space, something which cripples information systems. I'm not scaring anyone. I'm saying, God forbid, if such a thing happens, are you prepared? Technology is going to help you to prepare yourself to address to such disruptors and be future ready. You look back, you don't have to go far off. I mean, just uh, turn the clock back by 2 years. Companies which had digitalized HR ecosystems, companies which had digitized HR processes, they were far better off because their business continuity was not disrupted because of COVID-19. They could adopt to work from home very, very fast. Companies which were not prepared, they were struggling. For 6 months, they were struggling and they were hugely impacted in terms of their profit and loss, in terms of their financial outcomes. So are we preparing our HR ecosystems? So how do we prepare? Through adoption of technology. But a digital transformation is not just about adoption of technology. We have to keep in mind that digital transformation is about adoption of technology. It's also a change phenomenon. You have to lead the change. So the leadership also gets involved. You have to look at the emotions. You have to look at the careers. You can't de-skill jobs by adopting AI and say that, okay, these job roles now AI will do. That will not be the right thing to do. Which means that we have to build a very balanced new generation digital HR ecosystem. And there we have to also look at the metrics. We have to look at the recruitment metrics. We have to look at the performance management metrics. We have to look at the employee sentiment metrics. We have to look at the compensation and benefits metrics. We have to look at the learning and development metrics. And the challenge with HR is that not only that the data gets created the way it is created in sales, the way it is created in finance or customer services or manufacturing, there are emotions also which are created in HR. There are careers involved. There are people. So it is, the problem is so complex that we not only have data, we also have social psychological processes, we also have emotions, we have people's aspirations, we have people's careers. How do we manage everything? So I research with large companies. So one of the companies I am researching uh, with is applying artificial intelligence to see that what is the employee sentiment, because they have a enormous strategic human capital, and that human capital is everything they've got, because they serve customers leveraging that human capital. And even if 5 people leave, their customer projects are impacted in a big way. So they through the adoption of AI, they are seeing that what are the sentiments of employees, and those who are fence sitters, they bring them back from the fence. Less people who cross through the fence, less load will it be on the recruitment. Otherwise, you have to go all the way again, recruit, again train, again deploy on the customer projects. And in the meantime, I mean, this will take long time. And in the meantime, your business will be radically impacted. So all these things we need we need technology. We also need leadership. We also need agility. We also need future readiness. All these put together, that entire package put together, we would call it as digital HR. So digital HR, remember, digital transformation of HR or digital HR, which we use umbrella term strategic HRM, and digital HRM, which is making us future ready. I mean, one of the studies I was going through, World Economic Forum, which says 80-85% of today's job roles will vanish by 2030. Are we preparing as CHROs, as HR managers, as HR executives? Are we preparing firstly ourselves and then our HR ecosystems and our organizations? So I will start taking the questions. I think I will stop speaking. This, of course, I mean, usually I uh, this could be these are the topics which take half day, full day, and these are the full blown modules in themselves. So before I start answering your questions, when I work with as a full professor with the Fore School of Management, it's one of the leading B schools in India, one of the oldest business school, ranked in the top schools in the country. So uh, we have started enrollment for a postgraduate certificate program, which is executive postgraduate certificate program in digital HR, applied AI analytics and metrics. So it's a 5 months program which prepares HR professionals for the future challenges, which prepares HR managers to design and build digital HR ecosystems in their companies and make their companies future ready. So I'll stop here. Let me answer the questions. If you have more queries, because this enrollment will finish by end of this month, and the classes are starting 4 modules, 5 months, 3 case studies, 2 modules on digital transformation of HR, 1 module on AI analytics for HR, and 1 module on AI powered HR metrics. And of course, then at the end of the program, there will be convocation at the campus, award of degree, these certificates, and then also award of executive alumni status. You can ask more questions to about the program to our program management partner, which is upTop, which has hosted today's event. For now, you can ask me questions about new generation digital HR ecosystem. What does digital transformation of HR means? What are the questions you have in mind? So I can answer all those. So here we are talking about preparing ourselves for the future, upskilling ourselves for the future, making ourselves ready for the future. Because companies which were ready as pandemic. I mean, 2019, while I was with ISB, so I had an opportunity, chairman and managing director of Hindustan Lever. So Mr. Mehta came and he addressed. At that time, there was no, I mean, it was a pre-pandemic, this thing. Pandemic happened after a few months. So he was talking about how digital transformation is happening with 1 crore Kirana stores to which Hindustan Lever supplies their products, and how they are coming up with a blended model, not going completely for e-commerce because they valued the brick and mortar stores, but how are they digitally enabling them? How the HR is helping to digitally upgrade all the employees, how the digital transformation of HR is happening. They were preparing before COVID. Just like I told you that there were few institutions in India who had prepared themselves before COVID, and nobody knew that COVID will come. In the same way, you have to prepare yourself for the future, because future is going to be very uncertain but very exciting, full of opportunities. Wherever there is uncertainty, there are opportunities also. So are you preparing yourself? Are you preparing your HR ecosystem? Are you building a new generation digital HR so that you are fully prepared, fully transformed? Any questions, please?
So we have got a couple of questions from Facebook. I'll
Yeah,
just share it with you.
yeah, sure,
There's
sure.
one question wherein a participant is asking that I am a junior HR, hence do I need to be a digital HR and learn HR analytics also?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question. There is absolutely, I mean, the junior HR, first of all, I mean, every HR professional in the ecosystem is valued, respected. And the moment you start upskilling yourself with digital HR, see, your career advancement will see a new trajectory, which means answer is overwhelmingly yes, yes, yes. Because this is the time where you start preparing yourself and you will be able to grasp faster. I would say that quoting the same World Economic Forum study, which I went through the details, it says by another 7-8 years, 85% of the people in the entire company, including HR, they have to be digital experts. So if he says I am a junior HR and he needs to be digital expert, doesn't mean that he should know Python, he should know how to code, he should know how to train AI algorithm. No, but he should know that I can use this AI model and I can solve my recruitment needs, the recruitment problems in my company. I can use this AI algorithm and I can get to know more about what is the sentiment of employees. People will smile at you. Inside, you don't know what's happening. They might be leaving your company tomorrow. Your strategic human capital is going to be greatly impacted. And strategic human capital uniquely places you in the market. And every company has a unique strategic human capital. Google's human capital is different from Microsoft's human capital. IBM's capital is different from Cisco's strategic human capital. Strategic human capital will uniquely place you in the market. So, to answer my friend's question, yes, this is the time you prepare yourself. You invest in yourself, make yourself future ready, accelerate your career, and be ready with the future challenges, because the market will chase you when you have skills which can help them to be future ready. Today, we don't need people managers who can manage others. We need people with cutting edge skills. HR is the most sought after function today. But then we don't need HR only to manage transactions. We need people who can bring in transformation. We need people who can build new generation ecosystems, who can participate in building new generation ecosystems, who can help make the organization more agile. So, to summarize, my answer is yes, yes, yes. So, there's absolutely no doubt about this thing that she or he should not, this is the right time to upskill yourself in digital HR. Ajay, next question.
Yes, so there's one very specific question where a person says that I have done one of the certification program, and that is normal HR what he has done. He says that how will now a recruiter or company will be seeing at my CV if I am a digital HR certified or probably HR analytical certified. So what is the acceptance in the market? What he wanted to point out.
Yeah, so it's a very simple answer, and I think it's a no-brainer. If I have I have equipped myself, I've upskilled myself. I'm a digital HR certified professional, and not only that, it is just the paper I am carrying or a scanned copy of the certificate I'm carrying. I actually have the skills. I have the skills on AI analytics, which are HR analytics. I have the skills regarding HR metrics. That is what companies are looking for. We say that there are no jobs, there are no people for those jobs. I mean, people who are skilled. Today, there is so much of shortage of talent in these areas. So it's a no-brainer. The recruiters will chase these profiles, isn't it? Because companies are looking at making their organizations agile. The companies are looking at making the HR ecosystems resilient, their companies resilient. Companies are looking at being future ready. You don't know what's going to happen next year. Are you agile enough so that the business continuity is not broken? That requires equipping yourself with AI-based HR analytics, AI-based HR metrics, and a conceptual foundation and a very strong foundation of strategic HRM and digital transformation of HR. In fact, companies are sponsoring people, I mean, in a big way to equip, or they might bring in people from outside that please do this 6 months program for us. We need to be future ready. And it is not just theory because it's an applied HR analytics. You cannot solve recruitment problems of a company just by discussing. I mean, you have tons of data. You have thousands of profiles. Now, how do I research another company, very, very big company. They have huge problems because there are very large number of opportunities and they are ramping up very fast. But when they look at the profiles, some profiles are duplicated, some profiles are not relevant. How do they, I mean, how many people they can put on searching for profiles? They need AI analytics. Within a day, within 2 days, they get to know these are and it saves lots and lots of executive time. Not only that they need to optimize cost, they also need to increase the speed. Person hired today will join you next month, will be productive next to next month. If you take 4 months to get the person, so which means the person will become productive at the 8th month. You lost so much of time. Speed is impacted. Next question, please.
Sir, very again straightforward question. Person says, do I need to be very technical to learn digital HR?
No, not at all. I mean, the kind of analytics, metrics, and digital transformation of HR, which an HR professional needs to learn, is something which is uh, fundamental, which means that when I say that World Economic Forum report says that 80-85% of people, of executives in the organization, including HR, will be digital experts. Doesn't mean that they've learned Python. Doesn't mean that they are training the algorithm. It means that they know about HR analytics. They know about HR metrics. So this is absolutely not doesn't mean that you need to have technical skills, and one can get oneself equipped with digital HR, and one can know about what AI can do to recruitment, what AI can do to compensation and benefits, what AI will do to learning and development, without getting into the technicalities, because there are digital subject matter experts who deal with the technicalities. So you don't have to deal with those technicalities, but you have to understand and you have to immerse yourself in terms of what the digital HR is all about and what it can do for the organization.
Right,
Any
sir.
other question?
No, so we're done with the questions here.
Okay, great. So I think we can, if there are any other questions, we can take it by email. And also about the program, whatever questions are there, upTop is a program management partner. So please do address. And any questions on digital HR, any questions on analytics, any questions on metrics, you can send your questions to upTop and I'll be very happy to answer those.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. It was
Yeah.
a great talk and a lot of knowledge sharing happened. And I'm sure people who have joined must have gained something out of it.
Yeah. So thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a nice evening and thanks again.
Thank you so much, sir.